Illinois just made it illegal for AI to act as your therapist. Meanwhile, overseas, they're letting AI directly work inside of the clinics. Well, who's right here? And what happens if we get it wrong? Let's talk about it.
Welcome to the API for Everyone Daily Brief.
Before we hit our top story of the day, I just want to take a moment and thank everybody out there for your support. We added over 1,000 subscribers last week, and the last two videos I posted have done very well. So thank you all so much for that support. Please, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. It does help the channel. It does help get this information in the hands of more people. And please always leave a comment. I try to respond to every comment that I get. And of course, I'm always looking for feedback, critique, ideas, however I can create more value for you with this channel. That's what I'm committed to doing. So, all right, well, let's get on to our top story of the day. What happened? Well, Illinois enacted the Wellness and Oversight for Psychological Resources Act. This is HB 1806. And this act prohibits AI from performing any type of therapy or making therapeutic decisions. It limits AI to admin or clinical supervised support. And it also sets up penalties of $10,000 per violation. The enforcement of this act sits with the state's Department of Financial and Professional Regulation. And we can also look at Nevada and Utah as they are creating similar restrictions currently, and that's all taking shape in those states. Why it matters? Well, with no federal regulation or framework to look at, if you want to stay abreast of what AI is doing in your industry, we have to look at how the states are regulating it. And in this case, in the medical field, we see these Illinois lawmakers reacting to documented safety failures that happened in AI-powered counseling sessions. Now, this was everything from harmful advice to crisis missteps. So very serious stuff going on here. Academic and clinical groups both have red flagged things like bias, hallucinations, poor crisis management. I did a video here not that long ago covering a teenager that unfortunately took his life because he fell in love with this AI avatar, and there was some clear miscommunication in what was being said back and forth. There's people falling in love with AI avatars, so there's definitely this intimate connection that humans can have with it. So this is very, very serious stuff. And hospitals, they are also warning that these chatbots can propagate medical myths with confidence. And I did a video here recently that shared the fact that AI can be wrong, but if it says it with confidence, the bulk of us will believe it. So we really need to be paying attention to what's going on. On the other side of the coin, we need to make sure that we're not over-regulating and that we're keeping up with the industry as a whole, because overseas, they are handling things a bit different. Their health systems are testing narrow supervised use cases here. The NHS has run pilots for wait list support and is evaluating tools like WISA and Limbic through NICE processes, aiming to augment, not replace, human care. Well, let's take a look at a few of the positives of AI therapy and what the future could hold for this. Well, number one is access and scale. An AI therapist can be literally on call 24/7. So this could cut down on wait list times. This could create those soft touches in between the actual human-to-human appointments. And if you're someone who suffers with depression, anxiety, maybe end-of-life thoughts, something like that, there is something to access that has the potential to help you no matter what time it is or where you're located. So I see that as a huge benefit. Number two is consistency and adherence. Bots don't miss reminders. They're not going to miss an appointment. They can help reinforce skills, and they can standardize psychoeducation. And then number 3, they can bridge the gaps into these underserved groups and communities. There's already been pilots in the UK and India where they are exploring multilingual, low stigma support while people are waiting for those clinicians to get into these appointments. So you're going to be able to bridge that gap. Not to mention, an AI therapist is very inexpensive to run, so people could potentially get more care for much less cost, and again, more accessible to a lot more people. Now, let's look at some of the negatives and why states are being cautious and should be cautious. So, number 1 is safety and crisis response. Studies have showed LLMs, they can mishandle delusion. They can miscommunicate or not quite understand somebody who is talking about ending their life. And it can give misinformation, and sometimes it can amplify all of those things. And that is completely unacceptable in a high-risk situation like this. Number 2 is privacy concerns and data governance. Therapy data is, as you can imagine, some of the most sensitive out there. This is where you are sharing deep issues, personal, the most of personal issues. So regulators do worry about secondary data uses or impersonators that could come in and actually act like they're a clinician or an AI chatbot and steal information. So just a lot of issues there as we're in this Wild West mode. And number 3, clinical validity and bias. Evidence is still maturing, but a lot of the case studies we currently have, look, they're short, they're app sponsored, they're focused on mild cases, not some of the more serious ones. It's still very early. And if we just generalize these diagnoses and that these risky situations without human oversight, yeah, that's a cocktail of total disaster. How this impacts you. Well, I mean, if you run a clinic or a benefits program at your company, you just need to assume that hybrid right now is the only safe path. AI for intake, reminders, psychoeducation, skills practice, like those kind of more mundane or educational tasks, you're going to be fine. But you do not want to be signing up for a plan that has true AI therapists that are not, they don't have a human in the loop. They're not supervised. If you're a vendor, you need to be designing your apps with supervised use. So if you do have some type of AI therapist or whatever that is, there has to be a human in the loop with audit trails, I should add. Look, we just don't want to experiment on people when they're in their most vulnerable state. Now, if you're an employer, you really need to evaluate the tools and look again, hybrid as what can amplify, not as a full replacement for something that you already have. Look for products that have independent studies, not the study that app funded themselves. It's not their blog post, their case study. It needs to have clear clinician oversight and a documented crisis pathway. That is key. Oh, and one more thing. Come here. Here's an important rule to live by in this case. AI can help you with skills training, but people, they carry the care. Where should you draw the line in your organization? Intake, reminders, or more? Would love to hear from you in the comment section. All right, well, that's it for me today. I hope you found this valuable. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, like button, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Well, my name is Harrison Painter. This has been the AI for Everyone Daily Brief. And until next time, keep creating, keep innovating, and most importantly, keep up. God bless you.
Thanks for listening. I'm glad you stayed. One more spark for the plans you've made. If this show hit, go share the vibe. Like, subscribe, let's build this tribe.